So what do you do when COVID strikes and we go into hard lockdown and stay that way with no public gatherings, no audiences for the best part of 2 years? Well, let's find out. His name is Larry Soffer. Larry, a very warm welcome to you. Most people in your position simply closed up shop and tried to get work packing supermarket shelves or going back to live with mum and dad. You went a very different route. How difficult was it to achieve this?
Well, it was honestly as difficult as making the decision at first, but then all the technical issues came along. And first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here. And obviously, I'm not a techie in any way at all. But during lockdown, I had to learn how to become a techie. In fact, I work with my manager, and so her and I worked together, and we had to learn how to use all these virtual platforms. So that was the big challenge. And then you were speaking about load shedding. I had to make predictions of where this country would go, and we had to do things like get a UPS, etc. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's an uninterrupted power supply. So basically, it would keep the show going even if there was load shedding, because people overseas don't know what load shedding is. So there were all these different challenges that came along, but honestly, it was just about taking the first leap, and then getting over all those barriers as they showed up.
How did you have to change in terms of skills acquisition?
Well, yeah, we had to learn how to use the tech side of things, like I said, all the different virtual platforms, because there's many, many, many different virtual platforms, as I'm sure you know. And so there was different hiccups along the way until we got to a point where I have a whole system set up, a whole studio set up where I can change camera angles, etc. But it was a big, big learning process, and there was a lot of stress involved as well. But because I took the leap so early, I was able to promote the show, and I was able to get out into the public very quickly and create or make 2020 my best year yet to that point.
That's an extraordinary fact. What about convincing your customers, Larry? Did you just go to existing customers, or were you actually able to pull in new ones as well?
Well, I first started with existing customers, people who I've done shows for in the past, because I also felt that during this time, because it's such a difficult period, people need inspiration. They need to believe that the impossible is possible. And that's why I do what I do, is to inspire people to believe to see instead of seeing to believe. You see, most people say, especially with what I do, I'll see it before I believe it. But that way you only experience other people's creations. But if you can actually believe to see, you can believe in your own ideas, you can then create those ideas and become the master of your own destiny. And that's what I mean by believing to see. You believe in something and you make it your reality. So I was able to inspire that within others, and I was able to let the corporate industry know, the people who I've done work with before, that there's still a way to inspire their guests and their staff, and there's still a way to operate in this time where the whole world was shut down. And that was very inspiring for them, and because there was no other option, it shot off like a rocket.
Now, you distill all of this into 3 top tips to help a business survive in any set of difficult circumstances, not just lockdown. And you start with stop, breathe, look, and then listen. Talk me through them.
So the thing is that you have to be able to look at your environment and see what's going on in order to be able to decide what actions need to be taken. Because if we always look at the environment and say, oh, we're not doing well because of ESCOM, or we're not doing well because of this or that, or whatever we blame the situation on, we'll never be able to fix the situation ourselves, because a real reason for the situation happening, if you find the real reason, you can actually bring about a resolution, a solution to that problem, and be able to create the future that you want. So it's important to stop and to look at the environment and see what's going on, receive the information, and see how can you use the tools or the resources at hand, or even the barriers, because sometimes the barriers can become answers to your freedoms. And we can use those things to create what we want.
Okay, time to put you to the test to see if any of this works. All sounds absolutely brilliant. But I'm a very skeptical old journalist, very skeptical indeed. So I'm going to ask you, Larry, for a quick demonstration. What do you have up your sleeve for us today? Or is that something I should be asking a classical magician rather than a mentalist.
Probably more classical magician rather than a mentalist, but I can definitely try something with you. And just to explain how you can use barriers to your solution to become solutions, this whole thing, the screen that we have between us right now, is a barrier. It's almost like, how is it possible to create an interactive show across the screen, right? But I'm going to show you how, even though you're over there in your studio and I'm here in mine, across the screen, I'm going to be able to get inside your mind, Chris, and I'm going to be able to see what you're thinking.
I'm going to take some convincing about that, but off you go.
Okay, cool. Now, just by the way, if these things are possible, just imagine what else is. Now, Chris, you haven't told me who you're going to think of or what you're going to think of. I haven't told you what to think of. You haven't whispered it to anybody else. You haven't written it down anywhere, nothing like that, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, cool. So I want you to think of a celebrity in your mind right now. And I want you to just look at me and just focus on who this person is. Now, once again, you've never told me, you've never told anybody else. There's no way I could ever know, right?
Correct.
Okay. It's a female that you're thinking of?
Nope.
I'm getting that you were thinking of a female celebrity, but then you changed your mind to this male. Can you go, just in your mind, I'm getting an elderly lady, a lady from a long time ago?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So yep. I asked you early on to think of a celebrity, right? So I asked you to think of a celebrity, but you didn't tell.
I was thinking about a different celebrity, but okay, yep.
Okay, cool. But you didn't tell me what the celebrity's name is. I just asked you to think of a celebrity, right?
Correct.
Yes, and you didn't tell anybody else what this person's name is. You didn't write it down, nothing like that, right?
Haven't spoken to a soul.
Okay, cool. But I did ask you before the show just to have a celebrity in mind, and you have that person in your mind right now.
Correct. I can see a picture of her. You're right. It is a her, and you're also right. It's someone from, let's just say, in the past.
In the past, yes. I'm getting like reddish kind of hair.
Yes.
Yes. And in fact, when you picture her in your mind right now, you're getting like a picture of a very elegant looking lady, but also somebody in a red dress.
Yes.
It's not an actress, right?
Yes.
It is an actress, yes. Does she sing at all?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge. Okay, so mainly an actress. Just look at me and just say the person's name over and over in your head, because I think this person might be before my time. I think I might have heard this name before. I hear it in your head. Just say it over and over, like Sophia Loren.
Get out of here. How did you do that?
Now, Chris, what's even crazier is before you thought of Sophia Loren, just passing through, you got like an idea of a family member going through your mind, right?
Correct.
Not a friend, definitely a family member. This is a male.
Yep.
It's not your son, is it?
Yes.
Yes. I'm getting that your son is quite like analytically minded, somebody who really thinks in a very analytical fashion. There is a bit of a creative side to him, but he didn't go the creative route. Is that right?
Correct.
He went more into business, yes?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to imagine him over here in your mind. Never say anything out loud. There's no way I could know your son's name, and let alone know that you were thinking of your son, yes? Okay, so I want you to imagine him over here in your mind. Never say anything out loud. Just in your mind, you're going to say hello and say his name as if you see him right here between us. We're going to do this now. So you'd say hello. Nicholas?
Stop! This is insane. Absolutely. My younger son, Nicholas, known in the family as Nick, but 100% correct. Nicholas. And he's in business, as you say. And he has a creative side to him and he has an analytical side to him. You described him to a T. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, the amazing thing is that you would do this face to face with a live audience. Your business has transformed. Now you're able to do it over the internet. I congratulate you, Larry. It is just truly mind-bending, absolutely mind-bending. On that note, we are out of time. We're going to have to leave it. Jeremy, it's back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. I think I'm going to go and have to make the strongest cup of coffee I have ever made in my life. Put my feet up for 5 minutes and try and just absorb what I've just seen. The only thing I can say is yesterday. I think that's all that comes to mind, eh, Chris? Well,
completely mind-boggling.
Yeah. Larry, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And
thank you for having me.
Funnily enough, we've got somebody up who is in the business sector, but who has a different passion, a totally different passion, a passion that you probably wouldn't guess. And we'll reveal that to you next week. That's all from us here at Mansfield Today. We'll catch you with our business once again next week, Monday. Thank you to Chris Gibbons for all his input in this show. Bye-bye.